Hi Witchdoctor fans. Today I'm having a quick look at Olive's new 06HD audiophile music player. It's brand new, handmade in the USA, and it's their top of the line product aimed squarely at the audiophile market. So as you can see, it's a totally different shape from the previous 04HD, which is of course still the current model. This baby contains a 2 terabyte hard drive. It's isolated by something like 8 layers of insulation, so you won't hear the hard drive spinning at all, and it's totally resistant to vibration. Very nice CNC milled aluminium or satin aluminium case. You have a dedicated headphone DAC inside the machine as well, with its own amplifier, and it's a beautiful machine. I've had quite a play with it, and it's easy enough to set up on my network or on a network, and I use a Mac network. I'll just spin around to the back here. You can have a look. So it'll run either wireless or cabled Ethernet. There's a balanced output, or set of balanced outputs for analog, and also a digital output, which is either AES EBU or balanced, SPDIF coaxial, and good old Toslink. It's also a USB port. I'll just zoom in there, which is handy for backups, etc. An HDMI video output. You wonder why on earth you'd need an HDMI output on that, but I'll get to that in a minute. It's a beautifully made player. It sounds absolutely spectacular. The only issue I guess I would have is that because the screen, and it's a glorious big screen, just select something here. Go into artists, and voila, let's have a look at Alison Krauss. So a nice big touch screen. And let's press play. Any second now. So of course I don't have it connected because I can't really get around to do a 360 view while it's on my rack, but it's quite spectacular. This is a 24-bit 96 kHz album that I've downloaded from HD Tracks, paid for it of course, but it will actually play native 24-bit 192 kHz, and I've got a couple of those tracks on here. The only issues I guess I have with the Olive 06 just it's not so much its aesthetics, but its operability. It's great having a great big colour screen, but when you're playing it in a seated position, you can't actually see the screen. Now, those who are lucky enough to have an iPod Touch or iPhone are in luck because there's a downloadable app for it, but there's my iPod. So it's of no real use to me whatsoever. And the remote control is a bit of a beast. Actually, it's beautifully made. Big square hunk of material, buttons galore, and it does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you're actually seated, you can't see the screen unless you either have the iPod Touch, or you have the HDMI cable plugged into a monitor or display. But the main purpose of this machine is great sound quality, and it certainly hits that mark very well indeed. It's a beautiful sounding machine. So there we have it, Olive 06 HD, available at your Olive 06 HD retailer right now. This is how you transfer files from your computer, in this case a Mac, to the Olive 06 HD. First of all, you'll have connected your 06 HD up to your network, and therefore your 06 HD, your Olive, will have an IP address. So you simply choose Go, down to Connect to Server, and it it comes up with this little box here. Okay, down the bottom there it says connect. So I'm now connecting. It will actually ask you for a password, and you just sort of throw your password in there and then you're up and away and connected. So what I've done is, because the Mac won't play FLAC files through iTunes, boo-hoo, I've converted them to Apple lossless files, but still have my FLAC masters, and I've kept them in a separate folder. So all I have to do now is just drag this folder from my original folder, which I use for iTunes. Just drag that across into the import area or the Dropbox, and voila, we're away. So it's 215.2 megabytes of compressed FLAC. That's lossless compression, and I do stress that you use FLAC files. WAV files are fine, but you will not get any of the metadata, so you won't get any of the track names or anything like that, any of the nice things that make music streaming so enjoyable and easy. So I've now transferred that into the Dropbox. It's got less than a minute to go. There's 153 megabytes of 215 done. Now I'm on a wired network, so I've actually cabled the 06, and it's as easy as that. So within a few seconds that's going to arrive on the 06, and we're going to have a look at it. And there's the Kraftwerk album I've uploaded to the Olive. Got to the Olive 06HD within a couple of minutes. There was I think about 230 megabytes of files, and it sounds absolutely glorious. So I'll just press OK on the remote control, OK again, and we're playing. Glorious German pioneers of electronic music. So there we have it, Olive 06HD. A couple of issues regarding the screen and its position on the top of the player, and a fairly tricky remote control, but otherwise it's a stunning sounding music maker. The 192 24-bit files that I have on the Olive sound just spectacular. It's quite something to hear. So there we have it, Olive 06HD.